Hey guys, welcome back. It's Nick here, J-Tech, same as usual. Today I want to go over a quick brake inspection with you on this Kenworth chassis. You know, it's nothing too difficult. Save a little time. I've already taken the tire off. Here's the thing. If you're going to do a brake inspection, if you feel like you're mechanically confident enough to go ahead and do that, I don't think I need to show you how to take the tire off. But if you're not sure, I'll make another video. You let me know, alright? So let's get started, okay? Alright, first things first. This drum's got to come off, right? So once you get the tire and wheel off, it'll slide right off. You got to kind of manhandle it now. Might be a two-person lift if you weigh less than 200 pounds. All right, come down here to this drum real quick. So what you want to do here is take a good visual inspection of the inside of this drum. This one's a little rusty, a little dirty. As you can see, these cracks in here, right? There's some here, there's some here. There's some hot spots in here, right? From the brake drag and getting overheated. These brakes are probably out of adjustment. So this drum is probably scrap, but for a trainer it's fine. But if you see that kind of wear on a road vehicle, you know it's no good. Another thing I want to point out, when we get to this point, see this right here? This max diameter, 16.62. What that refers to is the inside diameter of the drum. When we get over to measuring the shoes here, this is going to tell you the maximum diameter the inside of this drum can be. Okay, so anything larger than that, it's no good. All right, let's move on. Action. All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and take that inside diameter measurement using our caliper here. So if you remember, it said 16.62 on the other side. So what you're going to do, you're going to want to take 3 separate measurements. All right. Try to keep it nice and level, about 90 degrees. Hold tight. And that says, what's it say, cameraman? I can't see it.
It says 16.23.
16.23. Remember that number.
16.23. Folks, remember that number.
And what does that say, boys and girls?
16.33.
16.33. Okay. Let's take one more here. Let's go this way. What you got?
16.34.
16.34. So normally, if you were close, you know, you're going to want to take your highest number and your lowest number, okay? Subtract them, take that measurement. But here, all 3 measurements were within spec, so we know we're good to go there. Okay, so this drum, in theory, by the measurements, is still in spec, but with the cracks and the hot spots, and there's a little bit of warpage in here, just knowing from turning the tire that this drum is no good, but the measurements are fine. All right, let's move on and do the rest of the inspection. All right, let's take a look at these shoes, okay? Okay, so these, you can tell right away, these are pretty good. They're pretty thick. But, you know, the minimum is going to be a 1/4 inch. Now, normally, these shoes, there's going to be a line that runs on the bottom of this here, and that's going to be a line that's right at a 1/4 inch, which is, you know, the DOT minimum. This one doesn't have them. These might be some off-brand shoes for whatever reason, and that's fine. But there's a lot of things on these brakes that make a visual inspection easy and quick, and there's a reason for that. You know, a lot of these inspections, especially on the side of the road, these officers, although they may be mechanically inclined, they're not mechanics. So rather than crawl into the truck with a tape measure and start measuring, they can visually see from behind the tire. They can see the back side, and they can see that line and make a quick call whether or not that truck is good, you know, go or no go. So that's part of the reason for those. But anyway, we're going to take a quick measurement of this, see where we're at. Now when you measure it, you know, just measure the pad here. Don't measure the inside of the brake. So I don't know if you can see that. Those are almost an inch, so you know we're really well. You can take the measurement here. Normally what you want to do though is the worst spot. So you go down here to the bottom, smallest spot. We're probably pretty close to 3/4 of an inch still. Maybe a little over half an inch. But either way, those are good. Okay? These pads are good. Now although the measurement is good, right? So the measurement might be fine. But for whatever reason, these are soaked in oil. you don't clean them. You're gonna have to replace them. So even if the measurement was good and you're doing an inspection and they're just caked in oil, they're gonna have to come off anyway. So keep that in mind. Let's move on. Okay guys, work with me here. I'm in a confined space. So what you have here is your slack adjuster, right? That's here. So you want to make a visual inspection, make sure everything's here. Your clevis pin is here. I've seen those replaced with these replaced with bolts, with nuts on them. That's a no-go. So yeah, so make sure that's there and it's nice in place there. You got a little fitting here for grease. You get your adjustment right here. This is the adjustment bolt for your slack adjuster. All right. This is the back side of the S-cam. The camshaft runs all the way from the drum through to here. This is the back side, and it's held in place by this snap ring here. So make sure that's there and in place. All right. Sometimes these will be gooped up and hard to see. This whole thing is more than likely when you're under your truck, you're not going to be able to see most of this. You're going to have to give it a good wipe down before you can make any of these inspections. Make sure this bracket here, all right, is in place. Then you move on here to the canister. Now the canister, is really important. So that's where the air is supplied, right, for your service and your parking brakes. You want to make sure there's no cracks. It's not leaking air. It's not broken. It's not leaking. Make sure it's secured firmly to the bracket that's attached to the chassis with these bolts here. All right, guys, I was having some technical difficulties there, so I had to change recording devices, but we're back here. So, like I was saying, you make sure it's attached to the bracket up here. I know it's a little hard to see now. So anyway, so there's going to be a brace here that runs around the front. Make sure that's nice and connected tight. That you can actually get into the canister that way, but you can't get into it in the back. So make sure that's there and it's sealed nice and tight. You'll have a spot here. Check and see if your caging tool is in there. This one it's not. As you can see, it's already caged. It's sticking out the back there, but that's where it would normally go. Move on up here. Check your air fittings. Okay, make sure your air fittings are nice and tight. They're not leaking air. Nothing's coming out like any system on your truck that has air in it. You want to make sure it's nice and tight. And that's about it. You can follow those lines up. Make sure wherever they go, they're nice and tight. Nothing's leaking. So all in all, guys, this brake system is pretty good. Aside from the drum, being that it's a trainer, you kind of expect it to be in good condition. Just note that when you get under here and you take a look at your slack adjuster and you get to looking at your canister, more than likely everything's going to be covered in grease. Okay, so you got to wipe everything down really well to get a good visual of everything. Make sure you get your hands on everything and feel everything. Also, if you ever have any questions and you're not sure about what you're looking at, it's always smart to go to the manual. Go to the instruction manual from the manufacturer, of that brake system, and make sure, you're doing everything the right way and everything's to the proper spec. It'll save you a lot of heartache and a lot of time, all right? Well, as always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Check out my YouTube page. And remember, you ain't cool unless your chrome's shining. Until next time.